Welcome, everybody. My name is Justin, and I'm going to be your MC for the next 2 days as we launch into the pre-interchange luncheon seminar. Thank you so much for logging in and joining us here today. We hope you're not too snowed in and you're able to log in on your computers and your internet and your Wi-Fi's are all looking good. And perhaps your kids are at school. Perhaps you're still doing the homeschooling thing. Either way, we hope you had a better night than the Toronto Maple Leafs did last night. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We have an amazing session to start things off. We would like to introduce our sponsor for the luncheon seminar, and thanks so much the team over at RICOH Canada. So thanks so much to RICOH for being with us and sponsoring our first seminar here this morning. Our first session is a fireside chat, and it's called Redefining Work, Successfully Solving for Digital Transformation, one process at a time. We're so lucky enough to have two amazing guests in this chat and one great moderator. Today's moderator is going by the name of Jonathan Bonus. He's a solutions consultant at RICOH Canada. And as a solutions consultant, he works on a specialty in content management and workflow. Jonathan thrives on having unique business challenges to tackle each and every day. He uses his 10 plus years of experience to consult and design solutions alongside his clients to drive organizational efficiency, accuracy, accountability, and cost savings. Having worked with financial leaders from organizations of all sizes and industries to digitally transform their business, Jonathan's unwavering commitment to his clients ensure the success of each project. When he isn't helping his clients, Jonathan can be found on the links or in his backyard, spending time with his wife, their son, and their dogs. Without further ado, here's Jonathan.
Thank you for the beautiful introduction, Justin. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to FEI Canada 2021. I'm incredibly excited at the honor of kicking off this year's event with this panel. And what an exciting story we're going to be talking about today. It's the journey of Canada's largest independent real estate brokerage and how they've walked down the path of digital transformation, one step at a time. Before introducing the panelists, I'll give our audience the context to what we've accomplished so far. We've built a web portal for the real estate agents where they can go and submit their new deals, they can check on the deal status, and they can also search through historic paperwork. This portal feeds into a workflow and task management engine, and it guarantees that deals are processed quickly and ensures that no items are ever missed. It manages and tracks all back and forth communication to do with each deal. Most recently, we rolled out DocuSign for corporate usage, and then we built a web store where the agents can go to self-subscribe to this solution under a special pricing program. Now, obviously, the last 12 months have been very difficult for us all, but I will commend the Right at Home Realty team in that they did not let the challenges of 2020 slow down their DX. But I'll leave those details for the conversation we're about to embark on. With that said, it's my pleasure to introduce our panelists. John Lewsink, President and Broker of Record, and Sanjeev Patel, Vice President of Finance of Right at Home Realty. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. John, can you begin by telling us about Right at Home Realty?
Sure, Jonathan, and let me also thank you and your team at RICOH for inviting us to participate in this event. First and foremost, what people should know is that Right at Home Realty is Canadian. We are Canada's largest independent brokerage, and we are operating primarily in the Ontario market. And so having grown from, just an idea that three guys put together around a picnic table to 5,300 members servicing the Ontario market from 10 branch locations, from Ottawa up to Barrie and over to Burlington. Headquarters in Toronto, we have been in operation for over 16 years, and we continue to maintain our place as the GTA's #1 brokerage for the last 8 years running, something we're very proud of. And so to translate that into some context, what that means is we are processing in excess of 20,000 transactions a year. And as you can appreciate, we do operate in a very competitive industry with new entrants coming into the market every day. and our biggest competitors, of course, promoting fintech and all kinds of other technology to try and entice realtors away from other brokerages, including ours. So we feel right now that we're getting closer to offering best-in-class real estate services.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Now, can you also give the audience just a high-level understanding of your business model?
Absolutely. And, to use an overused word, however, it's very applicable here. We were and still are considered very much a disruptor in the traditional brokerage world. And the reason for that is back in 2004, the founders did something that nobody ever thought would be possible, and that is to offer a 100% commission model. And what that means is that our agents get to keep every dollar that they charge to their clients for their services. Something that's really, really, and still is today, very much non-conforming. Having said that, we're also very much a full service brokerage. And what that means is that we provide our realtors with services ranging from sales training up to what was earlier described as the agent portal, which we'll get into further. Our model is a highly favorable alternative to outdated models. So that's probably one of the reasons we continue to grow. It gives our agents much higher earnings potential. They get to keep 100% of their commissions, which means they get to reinvest in themselves. We've stayed true to this model since day one, and that's something that we intend on doing going forward. So what isn't known, thanks to a campaign of misinformation by the traditional brands, is that even though our agents get to keep 100% of that commission money, we still are very much, as I mentioned earlier, a full service brokerage. Aside from continuous training and professional development, we invest in technology to streamline our processes. We offer total support at the branch level through non-selling branch managers, a full team of branch administrators. We continue to offer in-house legal support to our agents, as well as marketing support. And of course, our agents have access to a regular network of modern, efficient branches in our various markets to support them and their clients. So with that said, we are continuing to pursue an aggressive growth strategy of high quality expansion and acquisition. And with some recent acquisitions, we've established a presence in Ottawa and Barrie. And we certainly intend to facilitate our growth through technology and innovation.
And that's key. You mentioned innovation. So what would you say, John? What are the top 3 objectives that Right at Home Realty was looking to tackle with automation?
Well, certainly the first is, Jonathan, is brokerage operations efficiency. So every little iota of efficiency we gain in processing a deal results in a plus to our bottom line. Improving the workflow, ensuring our processing checklist is always followed, eliminating as many manual steps and keystrokes from the process are key to this effort. Second, and probably equally as important, is improving our agent experience. This differentiates us from our competition in a big way. Our portal gives our agents an easy digital process to follow to get their deals into us. And our portal makes it an easy process to follow. So, we want to make sure no steps are missed along the way so that we can quickly and successfully process the transaction, which means they get paid faster. And in addition, we eliminate any delays. So the portal gives them that self-service access to the deal status, access to paperwork, and then giving access to DocuSign just ensures that the agents are able to work efficiently even when they're mobile. And that's something that we really felt was important. And then third, and finally, integrated systems. One of the things we found that many off-the-shelf systems simply don't talk well to each other. So having our brokerage platform, accounting platform, and workflow platforms connected and communicating bidirectionally has driven efficiency and bottom line growth in turn. But it isn't stopping there. We are continuing to focus on all of our processes, especially the ones that have a positive impact on our agents and their clients. So for example, our next integration process will have live MLS data populating into the forms that our agents must complete to submit a deal. This will save time, keystrokes, ensure accuracy, and keep us compliant with the regulator.
Thanks, John. Thanks. It's so clear from your answer that the team has a roadmap in place and that you're just carrying out this roadmap one step at a time. You know, taking time to celebrate the success, but then moving on to the next project after that. Let's pause just for a moment right now, and we're going to find out from the audience, where do they feel that they are on their DX journey? So we're going to ask that question in the poll, and if you guys don't mind to complete that, we have a few different answers spanning the spectrum, starting what is DX? 2, we have some automation in place. 3, having a formal program underway. Number 4, almost every manual process has been automated. You're like Cyberdyne systems at this point. It's very interesting. I'm very interested to see these results and really gauge from the room. First of all, how many people have started, but second of all, where do you think we are? So we'll give just a few more seconds for the poll results to come in. And then from there, we'll analyze these results, and then we can take a look and learn more about the the journey, more of the details from the Right at Home team. So those poll results should start trickling in any moment now. And it's really going to be interesting to see these results that are coming up into a screen in a moment, because I kind of wrote the question a little cheekily, guys, because it's a bit of a trick question, because I'm hoping that no one says that they're done. Because really, I'm trying to emphasize the point here that the digital transformation, it's a journey. It's not just a destination. What we're talking about today should be, always a continuous move forward. It should never stop. It's really what digital transformation is a series of incremental improvements, and they shouldn't even slow. Innovation needs to always continue in line with your changing stakeholder needs, fluctuating market, your evolving business goals. So it's for these reasons and more that the innovation can't stop. I'm getting some errors from the technical team that we're running that we didn't get any votes. So we'll move on with the conversation. And really what we want to look at next, it's going to be so interesting, is to look at the substance of what I've seen from the outside to be a very well-planned and a very intentional digital transformation that occurred at Right at Home Realty. My next question, Sanjeev, I'd like to ask you, as the Vice President of Finance, what are some of the challenges or industry shifts that keep you up at night?
Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, absolutely. If I think about, what keeps me up at night, one of the things that does come to mind is, how are we going to remain the #1 independent brokerage in terms of deal volume in Ontario? This company I found has done very well in, its recruiting and its retention efforts. And we've also opened up, branches in very key strategic locations. But we're going to have to continue to find ways to differentiate ourselves from our competitors. as well. We're thinking about, understanding the role that technology plays in improving our agent experience. I think in general, customers are expecting companies to invest in technology, including ourselves. We addressed that, as you mentioned. We built the agent portal to increase efficiencies in the deal processing, cycle and process. But we're going to have to continue to build and leverage technology to help our agent experience. I think that's going to be a very key focus point for us in 2021.
Thank you. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the process that determines, what are we going to automate and when are we going to do it?
Sure. I think generally, if we look at, what we're going to automate and when we do it, our decisions that we make generally around, better serving our customers. So, we recognized that about a year and a half ago when we thought about building the agent portal. We realized that we did have to increase our efficiency in the deal processing cycle. So, when we look at what do we focus on first, or what do we automate, I would say that we want to generally focus on processes that take the most amount of time, and will have the greatest impact. So, for us, we realized deal processing was taking a significant amount of time. We focused on that, so we built the agent portal.
Fantastic. Yeah, and you're right. Deal processing, it was the first DX initiative that we did work on together. What can I ask about that specific process? What were the specific challenges with this process that led Right at Home to look towards automation to fix it?
Yeah, Jonathan, I would say that as a brokerage that was continuing to grow in deal size and volume, we realized that our variable costs, mainly around staffing, were continuing to increase as we took on more deal volume. And before the agent portal, and having that built, all of our deals were submitted by email, which, as you can imagine, was not a very efficient process. To search for, specific deals, communicate with our agents. It was slow generally. It wasn't a very efficient process. So we realized that change had to be made. As well, operationally, it was hard to handle more deal volume as that increased if we didn't, leverage technology and build something that would help our, deal team increase the efficiency of how they process deals. So, that was really the rationale behind investing in, in this agent portal, and it's helped us tremendously.
Fantastic, thanks. So then a question for John now. So the journey, how has this digital transformation journey so far influenced your allocation of resources, of technology, and of people?
Well, we certainly recognize the importance that technology plays, and it's going to remain probably our number one priority for a while yet. So, by leveraging technology, we're more able to efficiently process deals, which means we can help drive revenue, grow our business. In turn, frees up leadership to be able to focus on strategic initiatives versus tactics. So, as an example, automating the deal process was a significant investment of time, especially for our VP operations, our brokerage services group. But with the project complete, they can now focus, on growth and continuing to expand that area of our business. It's also emphasized, quite frankly, the importance of having the right people in the right roles. Sanjeev was, brought on board to help provide more oversight over finance and our strategic vision and help us grow our business at a faster pace. So, given his experience working with high growth companies and his prior experience working in technology, that should help us in this area as well. Eva, our Vice President Brokerage Services, has previously managed our finance and operations functions. So with Sanjeev on board, she's now able to continue to expand that area and help us grow. And we're actually very excited about that opportunity. The third high impact change we made was to create a new role, which is manager process improvement. So in this role, Loretta is dedicated specifically to managing our technology initiatives across the business. She's also intimately familiar with our internal processes. So she's laser focused on the business outcomes. And so not only does this ensure that our projects stay on track, but it creates accountability across the business so that we as an organization maintain forward momentum on our technology journey.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's great, especially that third point, but we'll touch on that a little more later. So Sanjeev, this digital transformation, what does it mean to the bottom line?
Great question, Jonathan. I mean, I think first and foremost, what it means is that we can scale and grow at a faster rate, knowing that we can handle the additional volume that we're going to expect to see. As a company, I think we're very focused on growth. And, if deals were coming through emails and we were doing things the old way, that certainly wouldn't be an efficient way of working on this part of our business. So, we can scale and grow quite comfortably. And that includes opening new branches. I mean, we know we can handle the volume that would come through as we recruit new agents and we bring on new deal volume. Also, quite clearly, I mean, we are able to, service our agents better. We've got increased speed of communication, processing deals, which to them, I mean, that's a tremendous benefit. And lastly, of course, when it comes to numbers, I mean, we're able to grow our revenue line without seeing that sort of corresponding variable cost increase at the same rate. So overall, for our bottom line, it's very beneficial.
Great, thanks for helping us to understand that. So now with a few projects under the proverbial belt, I have a question for John here, and I want to know how has the successful completion of one project, in doing so, uncovered further areas for automation and improvement elsewhere in the business?
Well, as you and your team know, Jonathan, we have quite the shopping list, which I'm sure your company's quite happy with. What it certainly does uncover is that integration, whether it's API and MLS, multiple listing service integration, or agent onboarding, these are all things that we're continuing to explore and begin to work on. Things like portal chat capabilities. We're looking at this as another feature in our agent portal, so that our agents can speak with our staff in real time. So we're just getting started, and we expect actually to uncover quite a few more areas where we can, implement automation to help our organization achieve those efficiencies.
That's a great answer. And it's something that I've always enjoyed in working with the Right at Home team. There's never been this arrogance or an air of pretending that you know it all, because quite frankly, none of us, we don't know everything from the first step that we take. And really what you need sometimes is to in fact take that first step and start the momentum in the right direction. Because then it's only when you're on the journey are these, are certain opportunities for improvement, innovation going to appear. So thank you. I really appreciate that answer. So because it's clear to me, I'm sure it's clear to everyone in this room that you're on this innovation path. So can I ask, where do you hope to be in 5 years as a business, John?
Well, I think it's safe to say that in 5 years, we'd love to be the dominant force in the real estate brokerage world in Ontario, possibly in the Canadian market. We want to maintain our status and certainly improve upon, being Canada's largest independent brokerage. We were known as a disruptor. We continue to be one. We'd certainly have no problem, saying that we want to be the disruptive premium brand out there, and also be recognized as the most comprehensive full service brokerage. But quite frankly, technology will play a key role, and in order for us to become the best in class real estate brokerage. So we need to work on this and continue to push forward if we're going to not only retain but continue to recruit productive and top level agents. So that's where we hope to be in 5 years.
Thanks. Continuous improvement. I'm hearing that a lot, and it's nice to hear it the story tell itself. So, question for Sanjeev: what impact has the technology we've put in place together had on your agents, but also on their clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jonathan, I think first and foremost, the technology we've put in place has created a very efficient solution for our agents to submit their deals. That's certainly benefited them tremendously. They're getting faster response times from our company, and they're certainly seeing a benefit of that. Also, it's allowed Right at Home to enforce certain compliance within our industry regulations. But I think also very importantly, it's also showed our agents and our customers, let's call it, that Right at Home is not scared to invest in technology, and that we do want to do the things that will make their life easier, more efficient, more streamlined, and we'll continue to do that.
Thank you. That's great. It's a focus I share as well. I'm not just focused on your success, but I care about the success of your clients. So it's very nice to hear that. It's also, I think, over the session, it's becoming clear who's leading the DX initiative at Right at Home. So we're going to try a second poll, and we're going to ask the room, who leads your digital transformation at your organization? So we have a couple options for you: finance, operations, the president and CEO, or all of the above. So it's very interesting. While you guys punch away your answers there, and we'll take a look at that very shortly, I did get the results from the first poll, and we had about 75% of those choosing to answered. We have some automation in place, and we have a formal program underway. So the bulk of people are underway with the digital transformation, and very few are claiming to be done, which is, in my opinion, the correct answer. But we should always be looking, to the future and thinking how can we improve things? How can things be made better? And again, focusing on that client experience is always going to lead to great initiatives. So we should be getting some results to our polls here. A reminder from the team that the polls tab is actually on the right-hand side of your screen. So if everyone can hop over to the polls tab, they'll be able to answer the question. It's funny. So for this one, I was considering a fifth option, and it was going to be COVID-19. And yeah, we've all seen we've all seen that meme this year. We've all seen the lawyers dressed as cats. But it's, in all seriousness, it's pretty interesting to see how COVID-19 has been accelerating a planned digital transformation across most of the organizations that I'm working with. So we have the results in finance: 25%, operations 14%, president, CEO 9%, and all of the above 53.2%. And I think that proves, it proves the point that I'm trying to make in asking this question is really that the digital transformation leadership needs to come from the top down in order to be fully embraced by the entire organization. I think that this has been a chief factor into the success that us on this panel have had together. And it's this commitment from the top down that seeps across the entire Right at Home organization. And what I see there is just everyone is rowing in the same direction, and they're rowing at the same pace. And that's really, what I think is the chief contributing factor to the success there. So I'd like to continue exploring that facet together. So John, I'll ask you, from your perspective, how do you feel that a strong partnership benefits your digital transformation journey?
Well, Jonathan, I mean, ultimately, it's the difference between success or failure. Together we've been able to create a crawl, walk, run plan, and we've built upon each success and taking the next step. And RICOH's been a very strong partner for us. They've been with us at every step of the way. So, automating business workflow processes isn't a one size fit all, especially not with a company like ours where we're at such a scale that off the shelf solutions don't work. So an experienced partner should be able to guide you to the correct solution and then deploy it to our specific needs. So we are counting on the strength of our partnership to help us achieve our current and future business goals. And, RICOH takes a holistic view, so we're able to tackle one process at a time without creating silos or islands of automation.
Thank you. And so Sanjeev, I'm sure there's been a lot of learning along the way. And I'd like to ask you, what advice would you give to other business leaders who are looking to either embark on or to continue on their digital transformation journey?
Sure. I mean, I would say first and foremost, you want to go one step at a time. As an organization, what you'd like to do is first look at your pain points and figure out really, where can you leverage technology to solve those areas or those difficult points. And then you want to adopt the technology, educate your users on how to use that technology well, and really what it's going to do for your organization. And then you really want to move on to the next project. You also want to make sure that you choose the right technology partner when you're embarking on any sort of technology project. There's a lot of tech companies, that are out there. You want to find one, that's there for you both, in the short term as well as, someone that can solve your long-term needs. And, RICOH's done a great job of doing that for us. As well, you want to get your team on board. Technology impacts your entire company. So you really need to educate everyone that's involved in your tech projects. You want to manage that change. And you also really want to make sure that there's buy-in from everybody from the top down, so that it can be rolled out efficiently.
Yeah, really. And truly what I've seen, I'll emphasize at one last point, is that top-down leadership really has spread across the entire organization and is and really has everyone's playing on the same team, and it's a beautiful thing to watch when everyone shares the same goals and works toward them. It's definitely sound advice. So I'm sure everyone's wondering kind of the same questions that are in my head at this point, and it's what's next. So John, can you tell us what excites you the most about Right at Home Realty's future?
Sure thing. Given that Right at Home has been able to grow over the last 16 years at what are really above industry levels rates, the fact that we haven't even got to work on this process, we haven't scratched the surface of the opportunities coming our way, tells me that the sky's the limit. Thanks to innovations in some of the internal processes that you and your team, together with our team, are bringing to bear. So I think our various tech partnerships are going to play a key strategic role in us being able to really and truly succeed.
I think so too. Thank you. So now, with John, is there one final thought that you'd like to leave the audience with today? What is that?
Yeah, thank you. In our industry, the word tech or fintech gets thrown around a lot, and assumptions are made that every company is on that path. In the real estate brokerage world, just as in all other industries, very few organizations truly focus on workflow improvements and efficiencies. Some are merely putting on masks and promoting themselves as being tech leaders, but the actual operations still function as they did decades ago. You don't have to settle for mediocrity or a band-aid or a solution that only partially meets your needs. Make the investment of time and resources to find the best solutions that can be configured to the best possible fit and function for your own unique business. Because technology and its successful integration provide the backbone of a successful business. And some of what we're talking about isn't the sexy out front technology. This is the hard stuff in behind the scenes that for us, quite frankly, is really at the heart of our business. So it's not just a pretty skin that ticks a box and looks good on a brochure. When the automation is not just surface level, but actually forms the engine that drives a business forward, this really is where the ROI payoff is for us.
I would agree 100%. It's a very powerful statement to end with. And yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Now at this point, we have some time to answer a few questions from the audience. So I'll look into the Q&A and see what we have in here. So one question I have, I guess Sanjeev or John, I have a question. Does the process improvement manager report into finance, or do they report into operations side of things?
I think that's a question for Sanjeev, I would say.
Yeah, I'll be happy to comment. The person that is in this role has been with the organization for many years, and has a very, very good inherent knowledge of the business. So that person right now is partially, let's call it 50% reporting to me, on all tech related matters and projects, but also is still operationally involved. But so she's currently got 2 lines, but we work very closely together.
Great, thank you. Just a reminder to the audience that on the right-hand side of your screen, there is the question panel. It's different from the chat panel, so be sure if you have questions, you can enter those on the right-hand side of your screen. Let's see. So here's an interesting one. Did you see any internal resistance to the changes that you were looking to make?
Interestingly enough, I think there was excitement rather than any sort of resistance or challenge. And so, quite frankly, both on the agent side and on staff side, there was really an equal level of excitement and appreciation for the fact that the company was working with RICOH to build it. So I think so far we're fortunate in that it's been a very positive experience, which reaffirms our plan in the first place.
Great. Sanjeev, any thoughts on that?
I think, being here, a short period of time, I think John's the right person to comment on, the adoption of the technology and sort of comments within the organization on that. But, certainly happy to hear that it did go well. I think with any sort of big change that you make as an organization, you could certainly have a group of people that feel scared or feel that this might not be the right move. But I think for what I've experienced, really, I think people have enjoyed it, and it's providing a lot of benefits, for our agents and also internally.
Okay, so related to that one, here's a good one. What's the feedback been like so far from the agents and then from their clients?
Well, let me tackle that one to start. Agents can be, and certainly in the industry, are known as some of the toughest customers because, of course, their focus is on servicing their end customer, a buyer, seller. It's a very stressful and challenging time, especially in the market. You all are aware of the kind of real estate market we're in. So with that said, I think this has been one of the smoothest transitions that I've been a part of in almost 35 years in the industry, and seeing it, the rollout of a new process, of a new technology. So, certainly there were some challenges. We've done updates. Rico has been phenomenal, and Jonathan and his team, in making quick fixes along the way. But overall, I would say this has been an extremely positive experience, and with maybe a handful of complaints. Sanjeev, your thoughts on that?
I mean, I've had a chance to work with the Rico team and Jonathan on a number of tech upgrades and development projects since I've started, and I would say that the team is very responsive, and certainly it's been smooth working with the Rico team. That's not always the case. I think sometimes depending on your partner or who you're working with, it could be challenging. But I think internally as an organization, we're very diligent to make sure that we test and we roll out any change, doing the diligence that we need to before it goes live. And we work with Jonathan and the team on that, and it's been smooth in my opinion.
Fantastic. Here's a great one for you, Sanjeev, on budgeting and best practices. So do you set a budget each year specifically for digital transformation, or is digital transformation part of the operational budget? And then just kind of what best practices can you give in budgeting for these types of projects?
Sure. So absolutely, we do set a budget. We as an organization go through a pretty rigorous budgeting process. At the end of, first of all, for 2021, we did that at the end of 2020, finalized by the end of, or I should say by the beginning of this year. So we do go through a comprehensive, review of all the projects that we want to work on. We do allocate a certain amount of money to those, and we do like to have those complete by the end of the year. So, the goal is by the end of this year, that list that we have with Jonathan and team, I mean, we do want to get through that, then set our priorities for next year.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. I have a question here. What role did IT and that function play in this whole process?
In our case, I would say that they played an important role, but this whole workflow automation was really driven and spearheaded by the Rico team, and our desire to improve efficiencies, of course, in the back office and make the experience more user-friendly for the agents. But their involvement, we don't have a large IT tech team. We do outsource some of that, so it was involved to some extent, but not to the extent that you might think. Sanjeev, maybe you've got other comments on that, but those are my thoughts.
Yeah, no, I would agree. As John mentioned, I mean, we have a very small in-house IT team. I mean, sort of more involved on, call it infrastructure, hardware, those sort of projects. I mean, when it comes to development, we tend to outsource that work to the likes of Jonathan and team at Ricoh.
Thank you. Here's a good one for Sanjeev as well, and you might be able to give a little finance spin on this one. How do you benchmark the success? What kind of metrics are you looking at before, and then what kind of metrics do you want to see after that let us know that a successful project has happened?
Sure. I mean, that's a great question. And I certainly been looking a bit into that since I've started here. I mean, I think if we look specifically at the agent portal that we built, and sort of measuring the efficiency of how that helps the speed of processing deals, we have an ability internally to track the number of deals our staff in the deals department can actually process on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. So many sort of time intervals. So what we've done is we've looked at the number of deals that were processed prior to the launch of the agent portal, and the number of deals that we're processing now. So through that investigation and look, we've found that the number of deals we can process has increased. So that's certainly a positive sign, knowing that this implementation is working. I mean, maybe John can comment a bit on this, but I would imagine we also like to see the feedback of our agents and the user friendliness, the ease of use of the agent portal, how they can submit deals and how that review process works. I think we also look for that feedback in the organization and make sure that we are keeping our agents happy.
That's a great answer, and it touches, and I'll emphasize a point, a point that you made inadvertently, but you have to take those metrics before you start, and you have to, as part of the planning and visioning for these technological projects, it's always a great step in the planning phase to take inventory of what a success is going to look like, and what are those metrics that we want to pay attention to deter, to know what success looks like when we've reached it. That's it for the questions. That's our time together is just about us up here. I'd like to take this moment to thank FEI Canada for the time today. I really want to thank John and Sanjeev for taking the time out of your day today to share your experience with us. You've brought some fabulous insights to this conversation. And for my own part, I really enjoyed being a part of your digital transformation. I thank you for that opportunity, and I do really look forward to what's coming next for us. So thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
So folks, that's going to wrap the opening session. Please stop by our virtual booth and learn more about digital workplace solutions and how Ricoh is all about the change and change for better. Thank you everyone for your time this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure to have this time with you, and take care until we speak next. Bye-bye.